Ho, 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 Shalligators. The holidays are almost here, and I wanted to leave you guys before we all unplug for the holiday. I'm not going to say I'm slamming my laptop shut until 2025. Can you fucking imagine just being able to take time off? I didn't want to leave you high and dry before Christmas. I wanted one last pre-Christmas rant about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. As I'm filming this, as I start this, I don't know what I'm about to say. I'm very well prepared. I don't know how I feel about this. And I feel like a lot of us are kind of in the same boat. It's like, what's going on here? On one hand, when you hear about a girl, any girl, claiming that she was sexually harassed at her workplace, if you have ever been at a workplace ever in your entire life, whether that's working at McFarty's Crab Shack in New Smyrna Beach or Amazon HQ, you've probably had something along these lines also. I mean, I might be older than you, and so I maybe worked in corporate America, or not even in corporate America. I did work at a McFarty's Crab Shack, where my boss, when I worked at Johnny Rockets in Laguna Beach, California, my boss collected my tampons. I was 17, and said he would give them to me as he saw fit. Yeah, I understand what sexual harassment is. And so when you hear these stories, like we're hearing about Blake Lively suing her, It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni for sexual harassment, you want to believe her because we've been there. And what kind of person would lie about that? I don't know. This seems to be a very thorny issue. And I'm going to say up front, both of these motherfuckers sound crazy. I would sue them both. Literally, is there some sort of asshole law or civil stature that I can sue you because I just don't like you? Where is that case study? Lawyers, drop it in the comments. Let me know. So we're going to talk about this, what's going on, maybe how to defend yourself from someone who's accusing you of something, maybe how to deal with a victim. I'm going to read some of your feedback that I was asking for on Instagram. So we're going to get into it. But before we do, listen, if you are feeling extra generous this holiday season, please consider donating to Whispering Willow's Senior Dog Sanctuary. Please feel free to shop from, if you want to shop for human beings, from the Amazon wish list I've put together to help homeless people in my town here in Bozeman. They're probably not going to get it by Christmas. That's okay. They need things like snowsuits for kids, snow boots for children, blankets, and that's going to go on definitely after the holidays are over. These aren't just Christmas things. These are basic human necessities. So for the price of a latte, do something really great for someone else. And listen to me. Hey, do something great for yourself. Join the Shallon Entourage. The holidays are a really lonely, difficult time. And maybe this season has made you realize, I don't have the friends I think I do. Or my family, I have got to put up some boundaries because they're driving me nuts. Or I don't want to go into this new year dealing with the same fuck boy, dealing with the same fuck boss. We've got you. We've got you. I do 5 videos a week. I cry in a lot of them lately because I'm in a bad place. But we can be in it together. And there's hundreds and hundreds of girls in the group chat, all connecting, meeting up, going out, kvetching, giving each other advice. It's like the best sorority on planet Earth, and you don't have to wear matching shirts. Yet. I also want your input on 2 different things, okay? Drop it in the comments below. Number 1, I've decided to write a romantic fantasy book because I love reading ACOTAR, The Court of Thorns and Roses, Fourth Wing. I just started Quicksilver, and this is what did it. I started to read Zodiac Academy, and I could not get through it. Yell at me in the comments if you want. I thought it was horrible. The actual plot isn't bad. The dialogue, I'm like, you people can't describe a classroom. I don't want to hear you describe sex. So I'm like, you know what? I might fuck around and write my own. I'm a 2-time published author, so that's what I've decided to do. But I want you to tell me, what are some tropes that you like in fantasy novels? Do you like enemies to lovers, love triangles, a badass female lead? Tell me especially things you hate. A lot of people are saying they hate the pregnancy trope. Don't fucking worry. That's not what I'm going to write. Or the mousy plain girl who's like, I'm so powerful, never guy wants to fuck me. No. I want to write our story. I want to write the story of the alpha female who's expected to do it all. And it leads her to feeling, really proud of herself, but also really isolated and lonely and misunderstood in this world. That's what I want to write. So tell me your thoughts down below. Also, I have an idea to do something called Eagle Meet. I'm thinking a Zoom every month, maybe like the first weekend of the month, and we have a theme and we have topics and we get together and we ask questions and we talk about it. If I started this in January, like first weekend of January, when you think of Eagle Meet, like what are you thinking about? Resolutions? Maybe how to like set and complete your resolutions? Or do you want to like do something a little bit beyond that? Is resolutions like, everyone's going to be talking about fucking resolutions? I want to go deeper beyond that because we did Evil Meet, which was great. So I'm thinking Eagle Meet. And ultimately, I want to do Eagle Week, sort of the inverse of Evil Week. But I don't know. Still fleshing it out. I would love your ideas. I would love everyone's ideas. Okay, let's talk about these two dicks. I gotta say, you know what? We want to love Blake Lively. She's pretty. She's Serena Vanderwoodson. I mean, if you grew up watching Gossip Girl, I wrote for Gossip Girl. She just has such a special place in everyone's heart. Now, when I say I wrote for Gossip Girl, I was not in the writer's room. I was consulting on a lot of things. But so I say that because I was not up close and personal with Blake a lot. So I can't say first person what she is or isn't like. The times I have interacted with her, she was absolutely lovely, super gracious and lovely. She did have one of the worst publicists known to man, Leslie Sloan Zelnick. The woman is a fucking beast. Like someone should turn her loose in the woods and forget about her entirely. She is rude. Rude is like too mild of a term. Like you think Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada is rude? No. That woman looks like Princess Diana compared to Leslie Sloan Zelnick. Anyway, she was just such a nightmare to deal with. And I was always like, why would someone as nice as Blake hire someone so like reputationally and like experientially awful? Awful. I don't know. You want a big old pit bull so that you can just be the nice one because you have the biggest henchman in the yard, right? Someone who's going to scream like, she would say things like, I can't believe you would publish this. I hope you die. I hope your family dies. Yes. This is who this woman is. She repped Tom Cruise, whatever. So, Sloan Zelnick notwithstanding, I have personally always had a nice interaction with her. I don't know Justin Baldoni from a fucking hole in the wall. I never watched whatever show he used to be on. I also didn't watch this movie because I have been in an abusive relationship and I don't really want to relive it. And the tide I think turned with Blake Lively for all of us collectively when she was doing promotion for this movie. Now, this girl has not done very much with her career since Gossip Girl. Let's be honest, she hasn't. There's like Age of Adeline, that weird shark movie, something else where she was ugly and seeking vengeance. You know what? Just like whatever. And this was kind of like one of the big comeback things. A huge book turned into a movie. What has she been doing? Birthing babies with Ryan Reynolds. She's been upstate making fucking butterscotch from scratch, while Ryan Reynolds has been doing project, Deadpool, just over and over. He's been master of the universe. She's been master of the kitchen. No shade to that. Like, if that's what you want to do with your career, amazing. Like, I don't care. Just make butterscotch. Sounds really chill, actually. But this was her big way to break out. And I think this, I won't call it a rebrand, but her stepping back into the spotlight, she took a lot of big missteps. We did a video on this, and one of you guys said, I think the most insightful thing of all, it stuck out to me and I'm so sad I didn't think of it first and say it in the video when we talked about her, when she was doing her press tour for It Ends With Us, because she was just so incredibly prickly and just weird. One of you said, it seems like she steps into these interviews waiting to be triggered. Like she's just like ready to go. And no matter what anyone says about her, whether it's about fashion or anything, she's got something smart to say. Ditto with Cynthia Erivo and The Wicked Thing. Like, no matter what you asked that chick, she was going to pop off and be a real twat about it. And it's like, I, as a former journalist, have such a bone to pick with celebrities when they do this. Because when I would work 9 hours and then have to go to a red carpet and stand out there, rain or shine, for 2 hours at least, waiting for these celebrities to come down the carpet, hoping that they will do what they specifically said they were going to do in all the emails before, which is stop, give you a quote, let you ask a few questions. Great. Have a great night. Enjoy your evening. When they were cunty to me, it's like, I am at work also. You are at work. I am at work. I am not a fan approaching you at Le Pain Quotidien as you're just trying to have a latte, all right? I am at work here. You are my coworker right now, dude. And for you to act like this, how dare you? So yeah, I'm gonna run a negative story about you now because you done made me mad. And your publicist can like scream at me all she wants. There's a lot more starlets out there than there are magazines. So think of it that way. So when I saw Blake doing all this ratty behavior in press, I'm like, she's really losing me. And she seemed to lose a lot of you guys too, because yeah, this was a movie about domestic violence. And she was always like, just like very like flippant, trying to make it a rom-com. Obviously, no man has ever backhanded Blake Lively. Because if they had, she wouldn't be so LOL about it. It's not an LOL thing. It's awful. And the worst part about being in an abusive relationship is that you don't leave right away. You don't. You make a lot of excuses for him and the circumstances. And actually, like, he's the sick one. I can't leave him. He's the broken one. I'm okay. I have to be there for him. Bam, 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 bam. It is ugly. And it's the physical violence does so much less to you than the violence you're doing to yourself when you stay in those situations. And it's obvious Blake hasn't experienced that. I'm glad she hasn't. It's not, but she doesn't approach this with any sort of reverence for like, hey, this isn't like 27 dresses. This is like heavy subject matter. And if you didn't like it, why'd you sign up to do the movie? If you want to do a rom-com, do a fucking rom-com. I don't care. Don't do the movie. Don't make a movie about Auschwitz if you're like, it's got some great views. No, girl. So right away, she was just pissing a lot of us off. And she was rude to interviewers and like making fun of people. And there was all this like tea that there was possibly a rift because she was never doing press with Justin Baldoni, her co-star and the director. The leading lady almost, what? And like none of these people followed Justin on Instagram, which was kind of weird. So now Blake's suing him and like his PR team for, let's actually read about it. So she sued him and others, including his PR team, alleging in the complaint, this is per People magazine, he waged a campaign to destroy her reputation amid the press cycle. She was doing an excellent job of that on her own. But she says behind the scenes, Justin was engineering all these negative press stories with his PR team. And who is the majority stakeholder in that PR company? Scooter Braun. Who is Blake Lively best friends with? Taylor Swift. The plot, it do be thickening. She also accused Justin of sexual harassment on set. He showed her porny images and videos, asked her about her sex life, attempted to add sex scenes that she hadn't agreed upon, and made comments about her weight. I find it very hard to believe, not impossible, nothing is impossible, that Ryan Reynolds would have let this happen. Because he's named in this complaint too, that Justin Baldoni's treatment of Blake was so bad, it affected Ryan Reynolds and their 4 children. Ryan, you need to fucking grow a pair if you are named in a lawsuit saying another man hurt your feelings. Like, you got, what, 40 pounds of muscle and 5 inches on this little Italian shrimpy dude? You walk up to him. If that was my husband, I'd be like, take care of this. This man is showing me porn. He's asking me if you fuck me every night. Like, take care of this. I would expect Ryan Reynolds to go up there, grab this kid by the throat, lift him 5 inches off the ground, and say, you speak to my wife like that again, it'll be the last thing you say. Got it? Thanks. Done. Ended. I would expect Ryan Reynolds to bury him. And don't tell me, well, maybe he didn't want to get involved. He got so involved in this movie, he commissioned a different ending. Ryan Reynolds paid for his own movie editor to come in and make his own version of this film different to Baldoni's and presented it to Baldoni. He's like, I think that this is what the movie should turn out to be. But he can do that. He can get up in this man's professional business to that degree, but he can't be like, you show my wife one more porn, I'm going to break every bone in your hand. What I think, I actually blame Ryan Reynolds for all of this. I have not ever, in my entire career in journalism, granted, I haven't done it in a while, I never heard one good thing about Ryan Reynolds. Never. He's hot, he's funny, and he knows it. What's better than a tall, hot guy who knows he's funny and tall and hot? Just kind of like how Vince Vaughn used to be. I don't know if you remember those stories from the Vince Vaughn era, but he was just the biggest dick imaginable because he was tall and hot and funny, and every movie he did was success. And that always tends to go to the head of a white man. And Ryan Reynolds is no different. He's extremely condescending to people. I have always heard that that's the reason his marriage with Scarlett Johansson didn't work out. He wanted her like barefoot and pregnant. She's like, no, I'm Scarlett Johansson. But Blake was more into that. Great. But Ryan has a tendency to come onto projects and be like, this is mine now. This is my house now. And I would not be surprised if he was in Blake's ear or she just saw him being like the big man on campus. And she's like, yeah, me too. Me too. Ma'am, you are not Ryan Reynolds. You are Serena Vanderwoodson. You're not Ryan Reynolds. Like, maybe he can act like that because he does have a track record of extremely successful movies. Sweetheart, you don't. You don't. If I was Justin Baldoni and I hired her to be an actress and she's like, how about I commission a different final cut? I'd be like, what did you say to me? Like, no. And this is what Baldoni alleges in return, that like, she was a nightmare behind the scenes. She would threaten not to show up, threaten not to promote the movie, and ultimately was tanking all of the PR they were doing for it on the press tour by being such a bitch. And so he blames her. So now it's this whole tit for tat. Bethany Frankel actually made a really good point. She's like, what is Blake suing him for? What are the damages? What is the amount of money? He doesn't have any money. He got married in Corona, California. If that is the butthole of California, I'm sorry if you're from there, but you understand what I'm saying. And don't even tell me that, oh, there's some great wedding venues there. There's some great wedding venues in Montecito and La Jolla and non-butthole places of California. Homeboy does not have a ton of money. So yeah, Bethany was like, the legal fees alone will bury him. And also, if she's alleging essentially a hostile work environment, so this complaint is a precursor in California to a full-on lawsuit. You have to do, I guess, the complaint first, then like a lawsuit for hostile work environment. Why isn't she naming the studio? Because that's where the money is. That's where the deep pockets are. I don't know. It feels like there's some reason they're doing this, and I don't know what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like there's some massive piece of that's missing, and we're trying to put this puzzle together, but there's some part of it that like, I don't understand. It just doesn't pass a smell test to me. And here's my big thing. You're telling me that this girl who was on Gossip Girl for 6 seasons, from like her late teens into her 20s, right? Or around that age, with all of these other people in their early 20s, beautiful, rich, successful, overnight famous people, horny, drunk. You're telling me that she never had an issue with sexual harassment, people talking about porn, people talking about her body, asking about her sex life. That never once happened in 6 years on the Gossip Girl set that she felt compelled to mention or go after. Never. I don't know that I believe that. I don't think anyone on that set like needs to be drug into this. They're just young sluts being sluts. Good for you guys. But like, I just find that kind of hard to believe. I find that hard to believe. And someone made a good point. They're like, she met her husband on a movie set. So it's not like she's been the queen of decorum and propriety. They met on what, Green Lantern, Green Hornet, nobody cares. They met on the set of that movie, dude. Or like they were seeing each other while they were doing it. Maybe people on that set could be like, yeah, they were like Frenching all the time. That was a hostile environment for me. I didn't want to hear about their sex. I just think that these are very interesting stones to start throwing. I don't know. I want to know what you guys have to say. So let's take it to the streets. Let's see what you guys, because I've been reading a lot of comments from like articles that are posted, like Justin's wedding apology to his wife resurfaces after Blake Lively's sexual harassment campaign. Her PR team is 100% behind that, I believe. And also his wedding speech was I'm so sorry for my shortcomings. It's basically like, I'm so sorry that I'm not perfect. Thank you for loving me anyway. Like, okay. And the comments on these things, not pro Blake whatsoever. Not pro Blake whatsoever. She just does not come across as likable these days. She always kind of struck me as like the girl trying to be funny, but she's like trying too hard. I don't know. One of you guys, Janelle, it doesn't even seem that bad what she's accusing me of. I don't think I've ever worked someplace where guys aren't talking about my sex life or talking about porn. My trainer will show me porn. Like, I don't know, dude, grow up. Like, okay. Vanessa, Blake is the white woman Drake. They believe their own actions hurt their reputation. Blake craves attention. I feel pity for her. Oof, PR machine. This is the same machine for Brad and Angelina. How to deal with being falsely portrayed publicly. Okay. Oh, someone said, I should read the New York Times or the complaint before I discuss it. It looks really bad for him. I don't know that I trust the New York Times anymore. I'm sorry. They've gone so overly liberal. I think you could have any woman alleging anything against any man and they would just knee-jerk believe it. I don't think they are fair and balanced anymore whatsoever. I'm not saying that Justin's innocent. I'm saying the New York Times is not innocent. I like this. How to deal with being falsely portrayed. I can tell you firsthand, I've been canceled twice globally. People tried to cancel me, didn't work. Calling me the most awful things imaginable. And then I am routinely falsely portrayed here in Bozeman because people hate me here because I'm a Californian. And a New Yorker. Oh no, she's what's wrong with the world. Really? A successful, well-educated, charitable woman who does nothing but spend money in your economy. I take nothing. I live in my house. I work in my house. I am the problem in the world. You think I'm the reason you can't afford a house here? Maybe your 10th grade education had something to do with that. I don't know. Maybe your choices added up to your life. I don't think any of my choices created your life. Is that, I don't know. I make choices all the time. I want you guys to raise your hand how that personally has affected your life ever. Is it a number? But hey, clearly this is under my skin. Nobody likes this. Nobody likes to be falsely portrayed. It's monstrous, especially when we work hard to either communicate effectively or present ourselves in a way that is integrous. No, that's not the word. That's not how I say it. Present ourselves through the lens of integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is my self-concept and my actions align. It's not a Venn diagram where it's like just a little bit of alignment. It is one on top of the other. I act according to how I see myself. I'm an honest person. Do you actually tell the truth? I mean, sometimes. Then that's not integrity. Right? I tell the truth, even when it gets me in trouble, even if it hurts someone's feelings, even when there's a lot of fallout, because I believe myself to be an honest person. And when we are living like that, which is monstrously difficult, and someone comes along and says, I think you're the opposite. And listen, I'm speaking for both Blake and Justin here. Like, I don't know who, again, they both sound like assholes. I think they're both guilty of like different things. Or is it the things that they're accusing each other of? I don't know. But they both seem like I don't want to sit next to either of y'all at brunch. But this is the thing with celebrity and being a public figure. People are going to talk about you. I'm doing it right now. I do it all the time on this channel. I make assumptions about celebrities. And I truly do. My heart goes out to them if they ever watch these videos. And I feel like the Kardashians do. My heart goes out to them if they're like, that's not how it happened. I get it. Like I truly one-on-one get that. However, when you enter yourself into the pantheon of a public figure, you become almost like a character in like a character bank that someone can just use in a plot line. And you don't have to approve it because you don't belong to yourself anymore. And here's where the advice comes in. Tell yourself that you don't belong to yourself anymore. What am I talking about? Okay. I am probably, and I think a lot of influencers are we're much more ourselves than actors are. I mean, they're literally actors, right? They lie for a living. What I sell, my product, is literally my personality. And you guys, every time you meet me or you come to a meetup or we're on a Zoom, you're always like, you are exactly the same. I am. That is a blessing and a curse. The blessing is, wow, I get paid to be myself. That's incredible. The curse is when someone attacks me, they actually are attacking me, and it hurts. And so I would encourage you to do what I have not done, which is create a persona that is out in front. There's Hannah, and then there's work Hannah, okay? There's family Kristen, and then there's like social Kristen. This, I know, you're saying like, so I have to split myself into two? No. You need to think of your personality, your identity as like a control panel. Have you ever seen a recording studio? Like what the control panel looks like? It's like all these sliders that go up and down and all these knobs. And they're just like, someone's singing, and they're like sliding something up and down, sliding something up and down. This is you. And on this control panel, you have my empathy, my extroversion, my sense of humor, my willingness to help others, how ruthless I present, my sex appeal, right? You have this whole pantheon. I said that word a few times this video. I'm in my Greek history era. You have the pantheon of all the things that make you. And you need to have a formula for each sort of ecosystem in your life. You need to have almost like a recipe of settings for every ecosystem in your life, okay? So for example, say the you with your friends, high empathy, high extroversion, high humor. So let's say you with your friends. The setting there is high empathy, high extroversion, high sense of humor, high intelligence, right? Maybe it's low sex appeal because you're my friends. I'm not putting on like my good underwear to go see Abby, right? Okay, that's a setting. At work, you don't want to take this template into work. That's a different place. That's a different like ecosystem. You want to maybe dial down empathy. No, I get that you want to go home and see your kids' Christmas play. I actually am not going to stay 2 extra hours so you can do that. You should have thought of that. Lower down the empathy. Maybe lower the sex appeal. Maybe increase it. Maybe lower the humor. Maybe increase it. But I think what we do is we go through life and we don't bother to consider these settings. And we just think, this is who I am. What, you want me to just change who I am? No, bitch. I want you to have a little bit of fucking self-control and strategy. Because you know who does this all the time? Men. Men are wildly different at the office than they are at home. And if they're not, that's a problem. Elon Musk's first wife, she bore him 5 children, horrifying. She's like, he would like Elon me. He would come home and he would run me like an employee. And I said that to him one time. And he's like, if you were my employee, I would have fired you by now. Cool. What a party that man sounds like. But it's very difficult for men to switch out of that mode. Hey, alpha females, we get it, right? We just talked about this when we're talking about the potential book I'm going to write. Like we're like alpha all the time, alpha energy, alpha energy. Last year's Evil Week course dealt with this. If you want to see it, it's in the Shallon, click the link below. But like how to balance that energy and how to get out of that masculine energy mode and like relax into the domestic, to be the girl, to be the soft mom, to be the soft best friend to yourself. It's very difficult. So don't act like you don't know that this is a requirement for us. It is. It is. It's high level. Most people don't do it. Most people are fucking lazy and deserve to be oppressed. We are not them. We are the oppressors. We're not the oppressees. Okay. So I want you, if people are talking shit about you and misunderstanding you, I want you to say, all right, what is the settings on that version of me that they think that they see? I'll use myself as the example. In Bozeman, I am seen as extremely low empathy, high douchebag, high risk. Like I'm a risky person to have around. You don't know what she's going to do. She's going to turn everything into an acai bowl store. Fuck her. I'm pretty self-aware, but even me sitting here thinking about it, I don't know that I can come up with a good like sketch of the settings that they see public Shallon as. I don't know. Huh. And I don't know, partly because I don't want to know, because it's obviously an unflattering setting. It's an unflattering sketch of who I am. And it's ultimately not a real one. But this is why we need to do it. And girl, listen, if you can't, I get it. It's painful. See if one of your friends can. Be like, what? Give me the police sketch of who like that Shallon is. And just give me some adjectives. Okay? I don't need to read all the fucking comments on Reddit. And then I want you to say, all right, how far is this version from the real me? Of course I'm empathetic. I'm pretty low risk. I'm not gonna come in here and change your town. I actually only interact with this town when I'm feeding people at the food bank. So how about you go fuck yourself? You know, it's like, this is not right. This is not me. How can I use that bad version of myself to my advantage? Now, this is tough. This is tough because it feels like that toxic positivity. Like, you know what? Actually, everyone's calling me a slut. I don't know how to use that to my advantage. My whole office thinks I'm fucking my boss. I'm not. I don't know how to use that to my advantage. I don't know how. First of all, in the Shallon Entourage, we will tell you. We have like whole chats about evil and mayhem. And when you're so close to that problem, of course you don't know. Off the top of my head, if that's your scenario, people think you're sleeping with the boss. Okay. Don't, by the way. It's so messy and ridiculous. But they're probably going to give you a wide berth. They're probably not going to like over-report all the little typos you made in your presentation. They're not going to come down hard on you in that Zoom when your like thing doesn't load. Because you have the boss in your pocket, remember? So that actually could work to your advantage. Again, don't actually sleep with your boss. Maybe that's better than actually sleeping with your boss. Yeah, but it's hurting my reputation. Then fucking take it back. Your reputation is a setting like high empathy, high extroversion, high capability, high efficiency, okay? That is a setting that these people have rejected. These people have rejected that setting. How can you look at this new setting? And I'm not saying it's fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. But how can you look at this new setting and be like, all right, okay. And listen, girl, I feel like this advice is tough to give because it's tough to execute. Again, I live it. I live it. And my spin, it's like, okay, if I'm going to be a villain, and if you've decided that I don't fit in here, I'm not going to try anymore. I'm not going to buy any more Carhartt, and I'm not going to keep my truck muddy because it blends in. Fuck you. I'm going to wear my fur. I'm going to wear my Hervé Leger dresses and my YSL tribute pumps and carry my Dior. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off. How about that? I'm not going to try to blend in where I'm not wanted. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be me. And I'm going to shine bright. And again, if you don't like it, you better step out of the way because I'm actually not going to dim. I tried that and you hated me anyway. So, and you know what? People think you're fucking your boss. I don't know, dude. Maybe you just should. Don't listen to this part of the advice. Don't listen to this part of the advice. But what you're also going to do is you're going to look at the setting for who you actually are. And you are going to say, okay, this setting, the real me, the best version of me, I'm really sweet. Again, if we've met, you know, you all say that. You're like, you're so sweet. I know that. I know. Like, I really am. I wouldn't ever have friends if I wasn't. But when people misinterpret me like that, really hurts me. That hurts. But it's like I retreat into worlds, into the places in my life where they understand that setting and no one's challenging it. And in fact, they're hyping me up more. Like, you think your empathy is at this? No, it's up here when you're with us. You think you're only this funny. Girl, you're that funny. Bring up the sex appeal. Wear the hot underwear. We love to see it. We love it. It's very important to have those safe places where people get you, where they get you. And I'm not saying it blocks out the people who don't. It takes 100 I love yous to cancel out one I hate you. This is human nature. Because the I hate you, the I don't see you as who you are. I don't understand you. I don't like you. I don't respect you. It's a tribal thing, because that's exactly what someone says before they kick you out of a tribe. I've been kicked out of plenty. I know what it feels like. It's monstrous. It's awful. It's awful. But rather than turn myself into a pretzel, shrinking and twisting, trying to become whatever this tribe wants, when they've actually decided they don't like me, they don't respect you at work, they think you're dumb, they think you're a slut, they think you should rejoin the religion, move back home, whatever it is. The cost to make that group happy is your soul, girl. It's the setting where you know and love yourself. And it's actually every other setting. You don't therefore get to be different. Oh, when you're at your book club and then with your best high school friends and then you're like big city friends and you work. No. You let someone hijack the settings once, they hijack all of them. I know. I've been there. It is almost impossible to have absolutely no identity in one category and a ton of identity in another. It's really tough. And so as hard as it is, when people are misinterpreting you and portraying you falsely, you got to be like, fuck you. Like, fuck you. The people who truly know me, those are the people I respect. I don't actually respect you because, number one, you've been determined to misunderstand me. There's no reason you should be interpreting me this way. There's something else going on that I don't know about, some weird thing that you've made me the scapegoat of. I don't get it, okay? I don't get it. But the people in my life who I truly love and respect, they truly love and respect me back. And that's the opinion I'm chasing. My best friends, my mom, you guys, my dog, like my dog sitter, like I love her. Megan's the best. Those are the opinions that I care about. And of course, we all want everyone to love us. We do. We want everyone to love us all the time. But if that is really what you're after, number one, you're going to find it's impossible. It's impossible. There are people who don't like Dolly Parton or Betty White. Lunatics, all right? There are people who don't drink water. Like, you're never going to please everyone. And if you try, you're just going to sacrifice yourself. So lean in. Be the villain. Be the bad guy. You know what? Be the bad guy. Be the worst version of whatever they think you are. All right? See if you can spin it to your advantage. Don't try to fight it. The way you fight it is you simply live contrary to it. Someone thinks you're a slut. They think you're a party girl. That's weird. When was the last party you saw me at? Whoa. Like, the one time, when? In the Obama administration? Yeah. I was doing coke off genitals then. Okay, I don't do that now. You simply live in contrary to it. And yeah, I'm going to just trot around this town glammed up if I feel like it, but I'm always nice. I'm always nice. I'm the sweetest person anyone's going to deal with that day. So you can say what you want about how I dress. You're not going to have any examples of me being an asshole. You're not going to have any examples of me changing this town for the worse. You're going to have examples of me at the food bank. You're going to have examples of me being a good tipper and a nice customer. And slowly but surely, the detractors, the people who see you and who are profligating these false versions of you, they're going to start to look like clowns. Clowns. And they're going to look obsessed with you. My enemies in town are obsessed with me. I live rent-free in their mind. I am like Jesus Christ. I'm everywhere at all times. Everywhere at all times. Thank you. And this is a meager silver lining to being disliked. It sucks. Again, of course everyone wants to be liked. Of course you want to be liked. But those detractors, they will start to sound crazy. And people will step back and be like, what is with you and that girl, man? Or like, dude, even if Hannah's sleeping with the boss, like your project is still late, okay? Like just, it doesn't matter. You need to be on top of this. Like you're slacking in what you're doing. It's not going to be the big card to play that they think it will forever. Justin Baldoni, the way he beats this, he keeps making movies and he keeps making rom-coms and he keeps casting women and he keeps not being weird to them. Like if this is 100% false, if this is 100% false, he just keeps on keeping on. And that, brother, that is the hardest thing to do. When people are attacking you, to keep it business as usual, no subtweeting, no mudslinging, no this, no that. There is nothing harder than consistency. There's nothing harder than staying on brand, your brand, to who you are. But that ultimately wins. These people, they'll win a battle. They'll lose a war. They'll lose a war. Because at the end of the day, what do you have on your side? That word that I can't use or conjugate, integrity. You have integrity on your side. You know who you are. You know you're not a sexual harasser. If you're Blake, you know you're not a liar. You know you're not a liar. And the truth will out. You know you're not difficult on set. You know you're not threatening to not show up. So you just keep on going. You sign up for more movies. You keep it going. And you hold your head high. And you cry in private. You cry here with us. Come to the Shallon Entourage and cry. We cry all the time. I cry all the time. I do a lot of crying. We've got you. You go to that council of people, this precious inner circle who see the real you and know the real you, and you fall apart there. You don't do it in public. And again, that's the hardest thing in the world. It's awful. But the people who know you, they're always going to be that nest for you, that safe space. And there's just people out there who are just determined to misunderstand you. They want to take things out on you. They want you to be responsible for whatever's wrong in their life. And they're using a scapegoat. None of this shit's new. This has been happening since the dawn of civilization. The oldest profession is a prostitute. Well, the oldest hobby is just being a dick to other people because you're having a bad day. Oldest behavior in the world. So remember that. This isn't always about you. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And you know what, if it is, you're like, well, they're not portraying me in a false way. I have done those things. That's a whole separate Oprah. Go into yourself, understand why you behave that way, make amends. And again, it just goes back to live in contrary. Live in contrary to that. And the chatter will eventually die down. It won't happen overnight. And when you're in these situations, every minute feels like an agony. It feels like you are in a siege and a war and no one else can see it but you. I get it. I get it. But every storm runs out of rain. And no one can cancel you except for you. No one can cancel you except for you. You keep showing up. You keep making the videos. You keep doing the projects at work. You keep dropping your kids off at daycare. Fuck them, all right? Fuck them. You keep going. You keep going. The only defeat is stopping. That's the only failure. Is giving up. I guess this is who I am. You keep going. And we're going to be right there with you. All right. That's all, Shalligators. Please donate to Whispering Willow's Dog Sanctuary. Buy some gifts for homeless children and families off the Amazon wishlist. And like I said, tell me down below your favorite tropes about fantasy books. Like, what do you love? What do you hate? What feels new and fresh? What's like, ugh, done to death? And eagle meat. What do these words mean to you? And we're going to be back next time with a video that I promised you about Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, how to be done with someone for good. We're going to have that to close out 2024. Seems pretty fitting. All right, Shalligators, Merry Christmas.